The Super Bowl matchup is finally set, and I was definitely wrong in my predictions. If you guys missed those, you gotta check them out on the channel. I'm gonna give my prediction for that game, and I'm also gonna go ahead and do my predictions for the NFL honors. But first, we gotta briefly touch on these conference championship games because there's a lot to talk about here. Started off in the NFC with the 49ers playing the Eagles, and it looked like it was gonna be a great game until Brock Purdy gets hit on the elbow and ends up being basically out for the entire game. He came back in just to hand the ball off because they didn't have anybody else, but he was completely unable to throw the ball, and it turns out that he needs to get Tommy John surgery, which is usually like a baseball injury, and he's probably going to be out for an entire literal year. But it just kind of killed the whole vibe of the game because, let's be honest, with Josh Johnson at quarterback, the 49ers never stood a chance. The defense kept him in the game as long as possible up until about the 2-minute warning or so in the first half when Josh Johnson fumbled the snap, and from there it was pretty much GG's. 49ers fans, I know they got to be frustrated because honestly they probably have the best team in the NFC, if not the entire league, if they just have a quarterback that can stay healthy for more than 6 weeks. So I do feel bad. Tom Brady retired, which, by the way, shout out to Tom Brady. I almost forgot to mention that. Arguably the greatest to ever do it. But with all that being said, the whole thing about him going maybe to the 49ers to cover for Brock Purdy being out, that went out the window. So it's more than likely going to be Trey Lance season in San Francisco, and we're finally going to get a chance to see what he can do. But now we go to the AFC Championship game. The officiating in that game was a complete atrocity. At the end of the day, Joe Burrow, you threw 2 interceptions, my guy. I know one of them was basically an arm punt on a 3rd and long. I get it. It just wasn't the greatest game in the world. With that being said, shout out to the Chiefs. They had dealt with a ton of injuries even in that game. I mean, they were down to like basically no receivers. They were running 3 tight end sets religiously in that game. Shout out to Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He had the best game of his life. All right, now I very quickly just want to go over my predictions for who's going to win these awards. First one we have here on the screen is the AP Coach of the Year. We got Brian Daboll turning the Giants around, making Daniel Jones look competent. Sean McDermott navigating a bunch of nonsense with the Bills between snow games and life-threatening injuries on the field and all these different things. Doug Peterson turning the Jags around, winning 7 games out of 8 to get to the playoffs. Kyle Shanahan going through 3 quarterbacks and still being arguably the best team in the conference. And then Nick Sirianni. Jalen Hurts is a finalist for MVP. Last year we were questioning if Jalen Hurts was good enough to start. With all that being said, I am going to go with Brian Daboll. The Giants had absolutely zero business whatsoever being a playoff team, let alone winning a playoff game. Comeback player of the year, we got Saquon, McCaffrey, and Geno Smith. Again, 3 great options, but you got to go with Geno Smith, man. Geno Smith literally had the best season in Seattle Seahawks franchise history, at least in terms of passing yards. He's going to win that award in my opinion. Defensive Rookie of the Year, this is 3 studs right here. Sauce Gardner is honestly arguably a top 5 corner already, and then you have Tariq Woolen, who's a ball hawk, but I'm actually going to go with Aiden Hutchinson. He had 9.5 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 3 interceptions. 3 interceptions as a defensive lineman. That's a tough award this year, but I'm going to go with Aiden Hutchinson for my pick. Offensive Rookie of the Year, this award is a fraud. I don't know how Chris Olave is not on there. I'm not trying to be biased here, but Chris Olave played 1 less game than Garrett Wilson, had better per game averages in basically every possible stat that Garrett Wilson had, and then Brock Purdy played 5 games. I don't know what to say. It is what it is. The winner of this award, in my opinion, is going to be Kenneth Walker III, though. Thought he was a stud. You know, Garrett Wilson, I don't know how you win Offensive Rookie of the Year when you were the 2nd best wide receiver rookie. So AP Offensive Player of the Year, it's really going to be hard for me not to give this to Jalen Hurts, but it's got to be Justin Jefferson, man. He was so close to having the best wide receiver season of all time. There's really not much else to say. It's Justin Jefferson. Defensive Player of the Year, this one's easy for me, Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa was the best all season. Not much else to explain. Micah Parsons is going to win a lot of these, but not this season. And now we come to the AP Most Valuable Player. My pick before the season was Josh Allen. Josh Allen let me down. Shout out to Justin Jefferson for even making it on here, but we all know this is quarterback award. I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry. I love Jalen Hurts, and it would be one hell of a story from where Jalen Hurts came from a few years ago being benched for Tua in the college championship game to now maybe winning MVP and the Super Bowl. That would be sick. But I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes for this one. And now it is time for the Super Bowl prediction. Eagles, Chiefs, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, the 2 best teams in the NFL without question all season. Just like I said for the MVP, I would love to see Jalen Hurts win this. I really have no issues with either team that's in there. If the Eagles win, my guy CJ gets a Super Bowl ring, but I'm going to pick the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not going to go into a deep dive analysis here of which team is better because they're both incredible teams. They both have a good pass rush. It's going to be an awesome game, I hope. So let me know in the comment section who you guys think is going to win this game. Make sure you guys subscribe. We're still at like 95% unsubscribed. That's insane. We could get 1,000 subscribers tomorrow if you guys just all subscribe. Seriously. And if you want to see the rest of my predictions from these playoffs, you can click right here. There's a playlist. Check them all out. Oh, and I do also want to say, if you stayed for this whole video, we're going to be live on this channel for the Super Bowl. Obviously, I can't show the game, but we're going to be doing a live reaction play-by-play with the chat on this channel for the Super Bowl. Make sure you guys tune in. Catch you guys there. Peace.